Welcome to Huntingburg, and welcome to the North Cape. The North Cape, or Nordkapp, is a famous clifftop at the very north of Norway. In this video, I'll share 5 must-know tips to help you plan a memorable winter trip to the very top of Norway. Ever since its discovery by British sailors seeking the Northeast Passage to China in 1553, Norway's North Cape has been a significant landmark for maritime travellers. The flat clifftop that's known as Europe's northernmost point, even though it technically isn't, has drawn tourists for hundreds of years. Although most choose to visit in the summer to enjoy the experience of standing on the cliff under the midnight sun, it's also possible to visit year-round, even in the winter, weather permitting. On my recent Havila Voyages coastal cruise of Norway, I stopped off in Huntingburg. Having been to the town before, I chose to join an excursion to the North Cape, and it was a thoroughly enjoyable trip. If you want to do the same, here are my 5 biggest planning tips for you. The trip is not guaranteed. Winter weather in Norway is notoriously changeable, but up here in the Arctic region on a very exposed islands, things can change even faster. Snow quickly piles up, and the lack of trees on Margarøya means that snowdrifts can close the road at short notice. As it turned out, we were extremely lucky our trip went ahead at all. According to our guide, it was the first day for a week that vehicles had been permitted to access the North Cape. The winter weather also means that the view from the Cape itself could be sensational, or it could be completely shrouded in fog. So when it comes to planning a trip to the North Cape in the winter, expect the unexpected, and don't be surprised if things don't quite go according to plan. The drive there is a memorable one. The journey across Margarøya Island from Huntingburg to the Cape isn't just about getting there, it's part of the experience. In the summer, the untamed wilderness can feel desolate and depressing, but in the winter, the island transforms into this winter wonderland. The road there twists and turns, climbs and falls around the rocky island, revealing wonderful coastal views, small waterfront cabins, and even a beach that the few thousand locals have nicknamed Copacabana, all of which is blanketed in a thick layer of snow. You'll likely meet a snowplow or two along the road. It might look treacherous, but you needn't worry too much. The drivers are locals and they know this road like the back of their hands. All being well, the drive takes approximately 35 minutes, and if you're on an organised excursion, a guide will narrate along the way, typically in both English and German. During some periods, convoy driving is set up, which can add a long time to your journey, especially if you're travelling independently. Don't miss the extras, inside and out. Upon arrival, buses park immediately outside the visitor centre. However, most people want a photo with the iconic globe sculpture, so they head straight around the side of the visitor centre to try and beat the crowd. Yes, even in the winter, you should expect a queue in the cold for photographs. Of course, everyone wants their picture taken with the globe, and that's absolutely fine, but there's no need to rush. Most organised trips to the North Cape allow you at least an hour or so of free time, sometimes more. If you are on an organised excursion, it's a good idea then to visit the visitor centre first and take your photographs outside later. Of course, this also depends on the weather conditions. However you choose to organise yourself, do leave plenty of time to explore the visitor centre. It's much bigger than you expect, as most of it is located underground over 4 floors. Visitors can enjoy a panoramic film of the North Cape in all 4 seasons, a variety of exhibitions, a small chapel, a cafe, and a gift shop that must surely be one of Norway's biggest. Other highlights include the Cave of Lights, a large auditorium that showcases the natural wonder that is the Northern Lights. Something few expect to find here is a Thai museum. This is dedicated to the visit in 1907 of the King of Thailand and is a photographic record of the monarch's 1 month spent exploring Norway and his visit to the North Cape. Once you're done inside, there's more to see outside besides the globe. To the right of the visitor centre as you arrive, the eye-catching monument Children of the World features 7 bronze discs based on clay reliefs, each made by 7 children from different countries. It's said to symbolise friendship, hope, joy, and working together. Facing the 7 discs is this eye-catching sculpture by the artist Eva Rybakken called Mother and Child. Other notable monuments to see include a milestone and a granite column commemorating the visit of King Oscar II in 1873. It's going to be cold. Yes, this might sound obvious, but bear with me for a second. The North Cape is extremely exposed, and it may well be significantly colder out here than it is in Huntingburg, for example, because there is no shelter whatsoever from the fierce winds. If you're visiting the North Cape in the winter, you must dress for it. That means a windproof outer layer, a warm hat, gloves, appropriate footwear. I also recommend a small scarf or neck gaiter. These make a huge difference on a cold, windy day. There is also a cafe in the visitor centre, so you can warm up with a coffee if you need to. Save time to explore Huntingburg. When you get back to Huntingburg, you might only have time to grab a quick snack before getting on the ship in time for departure, especially if you're on the coastal ferry. But if you do have some spare time, using it to take a quick look around Huntingburg is definitely time well spent. As one of the northernmost settlements in Europe, it's a genuinely interesting place. If it's not too cold, a walk along the harbour is a great way to discover some of what makes modern Huntingburg tick. You'll discover a small community that still relies on fishing as well as tourism, but it's one that has a surprising artistic thread running through it. If you're visiting outside of the winter season, you may be able to hike the large hill that overlooks the town. As you'll see from these pictures, I have also visited Huntingburg in the summer, when the town has a completely different feel to it, but the locals are just as welcoming. Check out this video for my recommendations on what to see and do in Huntingburg once you've been to the North Cape. Thanks for watching.